All right, so moving on here with our service. So we're going to welcome back our good friend Ben Neal. So we're happy to have him back speaking to us today. Everybody, go ahead. Please, brothers. All right, and reclaiming the sacred is basically his talk of music today. So it'll be interesting we're glad to have it. I hope it. Well, yeah. All right, well, Ben's a poet, musician, writer, and student of many religions and wisdom tradition. So he lives in Kansas City with his partner, his son, three beautiful dogs, where he sometimes gives talks and teaches meditation. Ah, and without any further ado, Ben, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I wanted to start off with a little music today, and then I'll do the song at the end too. Both ones, you know. This is one of my songs. It's called "Talk to God." Haven't talked to God in quite a while. Haven't talked to God in quite a while. I'm caught up in the rat race, trying to run that extra mile. So I haven't talked to God in quite a while. I used to tell him what was on my heart. I used to tell him what was on my heart. Now I feel this distance like we've grown so far apart. I used to tell him what was on my heart. I used to sit and listen to the sound of the silence that's within and all around. And in that holy hush, all my answers would be found. I used to sit and listen to the sound. I haven't talked to God in quite a while. I haven't talked to God in quite a while. I've been busy chasing thoughts down the river of the night. So I haven't talked to God in quite a while. Today I finally got down on my knees. Thank the Lord for all He's given me. And a heavy weight was lifted, and I felt that time was. Today I finally got down on my knees. Today I finally got down on my knees. Thank you. My talk today is called Reclaiming the Sacred. It's largely about our relationship to technology, to nature, and to ourselves in this day and age. It's something that's been weighing heavily on my mind. It's particularly poignant being out here on a beautiful spring day at Lake Waukomis. The sun is shining. You couldn't ask for a more beautiful day or a more beautiful group of people. So I'm just so happy to be here with you. Um, what is it? What are the unique challenges of seeking truth in the digital age, in a sea of data and information with everything at your fingertips. You know, it's amazing that here I am, a Midwestern boy, born and raised in Missouri, uh, but I can pull up my phone and pull up the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali or the poetry of Meister Eckhart. When my car breaks down, I can, you know, there's a YouTube video that shows me how to fix it. So much available to us at all times. And yet there's also the disinformation, the comments and opinions and theories and so on and so forth. The sludge that we have to wade through sometimes to get to the kernel of truth. We have endless entertainment options available to us is another unique challenge, I think. We have social media, Netflix, everything streaming anytime, anywhere at the click of a button. And there's these sophisticated algorithms designed to learn what we like and suggest more of it and just sort of lure us in, you know, play upon those dopamine receptors and keep us scrolling, keep us clicking, keep us watching. My son, when he was a teenager, was a voracious reader. And he even wrote a couple of fantasy stories, novellas. I mean, filled these notebooks, writing by hand. And it's funny because when he would do his schoolwork, his handwriting was atrocious. Like he barely put any effort into it at all. But when he wrote these stories, so neat, so perfect, so much care and attention to detail, filling these notebooks. Today he's 20 years old, and I don't think he's picked up a book or written a word since he was 17, maybe. You know, he's completely, you know, absorbed in gamer culture, you might say. Video games and the online community of video game players is really all that he's interested in. It weighs on me heavily. It feels like a loss to me. That's one of the reasons I'm thinking about this topic so much lately. But this is not just about my son or young people in general. As I said in the beginning, it's about me, you know, and my relationship to Netflix and the chess app on my phone is my current obsession. I'm playing way too much chess. And how many of us in here spend an unhealthy amount of time just consuming media content, you know, just glued to a screen? I think we can all relate. It's not young people, it's people of all ages. This is not a rant about losing young people to the digital world. My father, my uncle, my family member, friends of mine, people that I love and respect, I have watched social media and the echo chamber that develops there seduce some very good, smart people that I love and respect into just a realm of falsehoods and negativity. And I think you can see its impact on our society. I don't think I have to point that out to you. You can see it play out in our politics and everything that we do. So, you know, the digital world, the internet, technology, it's not just something that we go to for information and entertainment. It's also a place that we go for community, for better or worse, right? Social media enables Swaley to keep in touch with her family back in Brazil. Blessing or a curse, depending on when you have it. But it also enables my son to be able to connect with other people who share his interests from the comfort of home. It enables us to advertise events like these that we do. We're gathering in community here, and through Zoom, spreading love and encouragement and positivity. So it's a blessing and a curse. It's a double-edged sword. But when it goes bad, it can go really bad. And I see on the cusp, on the horizon, the advent of AI and how our programs now can just instantaneously generate content suited to you and what you ask for. And it seems to me that there's a dangerous possibility of people getting drawn into a digital bubble, an echo chamber of people who think alike, who all share the same thoughts and beliefs, and then on top of that, you're consuming media and content that may not even be real, just completely digitally fabricated and custom tailored to touch all your buttons in just the right way and get you fired up. So I'm calling, I think, for just mindfulness about how we engage with this, and also engaging with each other in the real world, and if you see someone who's going in that direction, how do we reach that person and keep them grounded in the here and now? We can't chase after the shiny new thing and forget the most important and essential things. Time in nature, time outdoors, time with our family and our loved ones to really connect and open our hearts, talk deeply, time alone to sit in silence and stillness, which is our root, our source, our connection. Exacerbating the issue, I think, is our cultural attitude towards work and productivity and individual achievement. We are a me culture. We believe in the freedom of the individual, and success is measured individually. And we struggle alone towards our own goals, or more often just to get by from day to day, I think is more common for most people. We give the best of ourselves from 9 to 5, and then come home with whatever's left. We try to put food on the table and wash the dishes, try to keep the grass cut and the house somewhat clean, and then, that may be about all we've got. And we don't have enough energy to do much besides sit on the couch and turn on Netflix. I totally get it. I'm right there. I'm right there. I saw a story about the eclipse that happened the other day. Everyone get a chance to see the eclipse? You get a good view. You get your glasses. I saw a story shared that the eclipse was going to cost the economy something like $700 million in lost productivity. Right? You guys see this stat floating around? How insane is that? What kind of a sick culture can even churn out an article like that? To stop and just look up at the eclipse as some kind of lost productivity that it was going to hurt the economy. It boggles the mind, but it really encapsulates, I think, something that drives a lot of us. Our relationship to work, to our livelihood. We measure ourselves by how productive we are, how much we achieve, how successful we are, how much we make. If that doesn't sound like you, congratulations, you're doing great. But I think you can see it in the culture at large, in the people around us. And the attitude that we have towards work and this individual culture also affects our spiritual practice, I think, in an unhealthy way. We often approach spirituality as if it were a solitary, private thing. And of course, the inner work is mine to do. You can't do it for me. But it doesn't happen in a vacuum. And the goal is not for me to achieve enlightenment or transcendence. That doesn't exist because there is no me. I am you, and you are me, and we are one, and we're all in this together. It reminds me of the Bodhisattva vow. You know, in Buddhism, the Bodhisattva forsakes nirvana. Even if they achieve enlightenment, they forsake nirvana to return and ride the wheel of birth and rebirth again and again and again. Because as long as anyone suffers, I suffer. As long as anyone is caught up in ignorance or delusion, I am not free. Until all beings are free, the work is not done. This is the importance of spiritual community, the Sangha. It's something that I love about CFUO. You guys do this so well. You're an amazing example of spiritual community, volunteer-led, supporting each other on the path. We need that so much so that we can give each other permission to be weird, you know? And when we're falling short, when we're struggling with grief or guilt or whatever it is, you know, you've got your brothers and sisters around you to put their hand on your shoulder and look you in the eye and say, me too, you're not alone. And then when you have those moments of insight and inspiration, you share that, and it lifts up everybody. And so we progress together. But I think sadly, as a culture, this type of community is somewhat rare, and something we've done a poor job in this country. Our public spaces are you know, underfunded, sometimes blatantly under attack. One of the reasons that I entitled this talk "Reclaiming the Sacred" is because I feel like we give it away with our attention from moment to moment, day to day. We turn away from the sacred and the essential that's at the heart of every one of us, just for a little distraction, a little entertainment. And I get it. The news cycle is relentless, and most of it's not good. So sometimes we need a little break from that. Another reason I titled this talk "Reclaiming the Sacred" is because I feel like there is a vocal minority out there who wants to claim the sacred for themselves and say that we know what's right. We have the monopoly on morality, and we're going to legislate it. We know what's right, not just for us, but for you and you and everybody. And they're out there this morning pounding the pulpit and putting their message out there with no shame or subtlety about it. And they're bringing politics into the church, and they're bringing dogma into the state house. And I don't know about you, but I think it's gone too far already. And I think that maybe it's time for us to reclaim the sacred a little bit in our public spaces. Maybe our spiritual practice should be a little bit less private. Maybe it's time for us to get a little bit more vocal about what we believe and where those beliefs come from. You know, that the divine, the sacred, dwells in every single person. Every living being is worthy of dignity. They have a right to exist on this earth and make their own decisions. and not have those decisions dictated from on high, from some moral high ground. The great poet William Butler Yeats, in his masterpiece, The Second Coming, envisions this sort of rough beast slouching towards Bethlehem in the end of days. And there's a line in there that has haunted me since I first read it. It says, "This is a time when the best lack all conviction and the worst are full of passionate intensity." And if that isn't prophetic, I don't know what is. Because I see it in myself and in my dearest friends, the smartest, most intelligent, sensitive, compassionate people I know, the people I trust to make good decisions, are torn up with doubt about it. It's that self-feedback that actually generates the intelligence and the creativity. If you're clueless, conviction is easy to come by. But how do we find that conviction for ourselves so that we don't stand by quietly and let events take their course? Part of it is the inner work that I mentioned before, just taking time in silence to sit in prayer and meditation and remember who we are and connect to the source where we draw our strength. I think when we do that, we get wisdom, we get courage, we get inspired, guided. The inner work refuels us and recharges us for the outer work. But the outer work is important. I think that there's a lot of reasons that we stay silent, to keep the peace at Thanksgiving dinner, or not make waves in the office. Maybe we just don't like confrontation. I know I really don't. We just want to be polite. But maybe the time for polite silence is over. Maybe to stay silent is to acquiesce sometimes. And I am struggling with this. It's not like I'm standing up here saying this to you because I have solved the puzzle. It's easier for me to stand in front of a crowd and talk than it is for me to challenge my dad or my uncle or my coworker when they say something that I disagree with, that I think is wrong. Those are difficult situations. And if I'm not centered, if I don't have a clear head and a courageous heart, it doesn't go well. It doesn't go well. But the political turmoil that we're in this country, the economic turmoil, I could go on and on. Climate change, what's happening internationally in Gaza, Ukraine. It's too much for me, at least. I don't know how you feel. And I'm not here to tell anyone what's right for them. But it's too much for me to witness and be silent. I have to speak up. I have to find somewhere inside of me the courage to speak up in those moments and speak my truth. Like everyone else, I am groping forward in the dark, just hoping that I'm moving in the right direction. But I do believe that this fire, this anger, that calls for justice, was put there by my higher power. That it is a divine call for action. I want to believe, as Dr. King said, that the moral arc of the universe is long, but that it bends towards justice. And I do believe that. But I also believe that it doesn't do it by itself. I believe that the divine has to work in us, through us, as us. That we are the voice. We are the hands and feet. We have to be the ones to make it happen. And there's a little bit of a paradox that I wrestle with. Um, if I ever give a talk where there is no paradox or contradiction, you know I phoned it in that day. um, but you've heard the old saying that what you resist persists, of course. That what we feed with our attention only grows stronger. And absolutely there's some truth to it. I think you've witnessed it in your own life as I have. But I'm equally sure that the solution to the world's problems is not to look away and ignore it. That can't be true. That there's some sort of balance to be struck between that tension. How do I take selfless action? How do I surrender to some divine force and be guided? How do I confront someone that I believe is wrong while staying centered in love and compassion and still see the Christ in them and see that divine spark and know that, yes, this is my brother, this is my sister, this is a fellow soul, fellow child of God. You know, it's a difficult line to walk sometimes, but an important one. Another quote that lives in my head rent-free is one from Albert Einstein. A human being is a part of the whole universe, limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as somehow separate from the rest, an optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and affection for a few people closest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion until it embraces all living things and the whole of nature and its beauty. And when I look at the world, sometimes I wonder, where is that vision of humanity as one? Where is that love and compassion, like the kind Jesus demonstrated, that forgives 70 times 7? The love that overcomes, that transcends and dissolves the differences between us, whether it's Democrat or Republican, left or right, urban, rural, black, white, Muslim, Christian, citizen, immigrant. We have to find that vision inside ourselves. It has to come from us. That love is inside of us, and we have to be the ones to embody it, to bring it into the world, to manifest it, to walk the talk, to radiate that love. We have to be the ones to reach across the divide, that separates us from those that we disagree with and try to find some common ground. We have to be the ones to rebuild communities like this one here at CFUL. We have to give our children a reason to hope that our lives have dignity and worth, that things are getting better, that they're going to inherit a world that is still good and beautiful and worth living in. I think back to some of my heroes from the labor movement, the civil rights movement, the environmental movement, and I think about what the world would look like without those people and their sacrifice, and how we wouldn't we wouldn't even be here now, possibly. The world would be so different. And I can't help but think that it's our turn now. It's our turn now. We all have different gifts to give. I don't know what the right answer is for anyone else. I barely know what to do myself. Maybe it's voting, volunteering, organizing, donating to a worthy cause. Maybe it's being a part of a community garden or an open mic or a book club or just hosting a neighborhood cookout. But I think that when we take the time to turn off our devices, to sit in silence, to look within, connect with our hearts, with our spirit, that's where the answers come. And I know that we can't do it together. We can't do it alone. We have to do it together. And so I guess more than anything, this is a call to resist the seductive call of the frivolous, to connect to what is deepest and most essential and important to us, and to do it together. And whenever you feel overwhelmed or lost or confused and don't know what to do, one thing I promise is that I am standing right there with you to put my hand on your shoulder and say, me too, me too. You're not alone. We'll figure it out together. Would you join me for a meditation? If you feel comfortable, close your eyes. Put your feet flat on the floor. Just feel yourself effortlessly supported. Notice any tension or discomfort in your body and just breathe into that. Just let it relax and so unwind. With each breath, relaxing a little deeper. And we just become centered in the body, in the breath, knowing that this is the breath of God, the breath of life that connects us all. We become centered in our hearts, feeling that fire of life, the divine spark that burns within us. And I'd like to widen our circle from just those of us in this room and here on Zoom. We widen the circle to our community, seeing every single person, our neighbors, leaders. We see them as the divine beings that they are. Send a prayer for peace and love to victims of violence right here in our own community. Send a prayer for wisdom and guidance to leaders, congressmen, investors, the movers and shakers. And just let that circle keep widening across the country. We send out a prayer for the United States, for divine guidance and direction. Seeing the spark of the divine in each and every person that was born here or that comes here. Just see that circle as it continues to widen, encompassing the whole of the planet, every living being. We see them sacred, whole, and perfect. Pray that the peace that passes all understanding finds them right where they are, no matter the circumstances. Divine love comfort them, divine wisdom guide them, divine strength and courage see them through. We hold that vision now in the silence. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, bring your awareness back into this room. Just take a look around the person next to you, seeing that divine love light shining out. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Amen. What is good will never change. You can lie and say it does. You can overturn a statue. You can drag it through the mud. But high above this broken city, there's a beauty that remains. What is lost won't be forgotten. What is good will never change. No matter where you wander off to, or how far feel you stray, underneath some heavy ocean, deep inside some rocky cave, still you sing a song that's holy, still you burn earthly flame. What is lost won't be forgotten. What is good will never change. High above this broken city, there's a beauty that remains. What is lost won't be forgotten. What is good will never change. What is lost won't be forgotten. What is good will never change.
All right, Ben, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Great message.
Thank you for that.
And one that never goes away. I mean, all of these things that we're talking about now, they don't go away. It's not like they are going to leave in a week or so.